take a nap soon. Hello, YouTube. It's me, John Avenger, again, and welcome to another live commentary. Let's get this done. This is a 1996 action thriller starring Mel Gibson that you guys probably have never heard of. Ransom. Yeah, we're going to do this movie. It's about 2 hours long, so let's get started. I don't want to waste any time because this movie's not too long, but it's long enough. Let's get to it. I haven't seen it in a couple years, so if I don't remember everything, don't blame me. It's a Ron Howard movie. He's done some good films. I like The Grinch and Willow and a bunch of other stuff too. This movie stars Mel Gibson, in his prime in the mid '90s when he was also doing directing as well. He had worked with Rene Russo the second time. This was after Lethal Weapon 3. Gary Sinise. Delroy Lindo, he's in the film. Yeah, this movie does look like a 90s film because they have VHS tapes and nobody has cell phones. No one's vaping. Tom Mullen is his name. Mel Gibson. It's a good actor. I don't know why he's so racist and such a douchebag, but hey, we all have our flaws, right? This footage is pretty funny. There's Rene Russo. Sometimes, yeah. Yeah. Lily Taylor's in this movie, yeah. Some of you millennials are not going to know these people. Lee Schreiber, this is what he did early in his career before he was in X-Men Origins Wolverine. Evan Handler. Hey, Little Sims. Gonna do a movie. You weren't even born when this came out in 1996. Donnie Wahlberg, yeah. Mark Wahlberg's better brother, better acting brother, because he takes his thing seriously. Dan Hedaya, he's the villain from Commando, one of the villains. I haven't seen this movie in years. I don't remember anything about it. I just remember they hold this kid ransom. Nancy Tickerton, not Rachel Tickerton. So he has a Game Boy. I remember having a Game Boy in 1996. I didn't get the Game Boy Color until like the year 2000. Yeah. There's Lily Taylor. That looks like her kid. They have the same face. I have 4 views already. Wow, that's quick. Oh, now back down to 2. They probably found out which movie I'm doing. And no, it's not a Sharknado movie. I'm done with those. I've done every single one of them now. So now I got to do one-off films. I'm not doing a lot of franchises again. James Horner did the music. Rest in peace. In your eight-legged freaks live commentary, how come you were in a bad mood? It was before I got COVID, and again, I just wanted to get it done. I had a hard year, guys. So, with a fortune, a Sony TV. I remember those CRTVs. How come you complain movies are way too long? Because they feel long. When a film doesn't need to be over 2 hours, it could be an hour and 45 minutes at the most. Films are just stretched out now. Back in the 90s, I could take it, but now every movie, every franchise has to be over almost 3 hours long. And the Batman could have been shorter, Little Sims. It did not need to be 3 hours. It could have been 2 hours and 10 minutes, and I would have been fine. But almost three, I felt the length, and also the Snyder Cut was way too long. And now the next the Avatar sequel is going to be like 3 hours. No, I don't want to sit in the theater that long. It hurts me. Eight-Legged Freaks is not that long. It's about 90 something minutes. It's not 2.5 hours. Not every movie needs to be that long. Things are just too long. Even shows on streaming are way too long. When a Stranger Things episode has to be as long as a film, that's a problem. You don't need an episode of Stranger Things to be 2 hours and 10 minutes. It could have easily been an hour or 45 minutes. But are there any Bentos in this movie? No. Well, except for Delroy Lindo, but he's not in it that much. He's the only one, and there's no like annoying British guys in this movie. Besides, the weather is bad today, so I'm just doing this podcast early so I could take a nap later. Did you see the designs for TMNT? Well, yes, I saw it on Facebook. Yeah, I don't remember this movie at all. It's been many years since I've seen it. I saw it on the cable on the files a long time ago. Even to this day, Renee Russo is still attractive. She's had a better career than Mel Gibson recently because she did the first two Thor movies and then she was in Endgame and one scene with Thor, which is really, really heartfelt because you got to see his mom one more time before she passed. So it's a good emotional moment. Brings some humanity to that movie, which we needed after Infinity War. The Sonic movies felt like an episode of Sonic X, yeah, but with a bigger budget and funnier and not dubbed. There's Lee Schreiber. And these guys don't look suspicious. I mean, he has a big nose. Now, Face Off, I do remember that because I've seen clips of reviews of Face Off, but this movie I don't remember it that much. This is why you should never leave a kid unattended. Never. Especially in a public area like a park. They can just grab them, especially nowadays. Even during the pandemic, yeah, abductions have happened. Never leave your kid alone. Always leave them with an adult, a trustworthy adult. Any attractive ladies? Yes, I said Renee Russo. She was in the Thor movies, the first two Thor movies. Look her up. She's way, she's very old. She's much older now, but very beautiful in this. There's no young like 20-year-olds in this movie. It's a early '90s film, a mid '90s film. When I was a kid. And there's the balloons. And I'm counting this movie's running time without the end credits because there's no in the end credits. There's no post credit scenes or anything. So I just stop and that's it. How would how, how would you how would you what? How would you the Dark Knight trilogy? What do you mean? How would you with the Dark Knight trilogy? Spell right. Spell it right next time. Don't leave your kids unattended. My parents never left me alone in the park without adult supervision. He's right behind you, Mel, and you didn't look. What they did to the balloons. And this movie's less dark than Edge of Darkness that Mel Gibson did years later, where he dies in it. I did like Bloodfather. I just didn't like that Mel Gibson dies at the end. It was just a downbeat ending that didn't need to be there. How would you rank the trilogy? Well, The Dark Knight is the best one. Then Batman Begins, and then Dark Knight Rises. Because Dark Knight Rises is too long, way too long. It is. It's well done. It's just way too long. Yeah, this movie's ballsy. They kidnap a kid and they show a video of him. They taped his eyes over. Yeah, they would never do that now. People are so sensitive. I'm like, Josh is sensitive about Caitlin Deaver getting over sexualized. What about abducting children? That is way darker than looking at a girl's ass. I'm just saying, Josh. It is. This is way darker than anything. The most dark thing Caitlin's done is unbelievable, which is a limited series, which is so dark. I'm not going to tell you what the subject matter is. Oh my god, this is hard to watch. Yeah, watching a kid be abducted. Who would want to abduct a child? They didn't do anything to you. You know, Avengers: Secret Wars is going to be epic. I hope so. And these are good actors. In this movie, even Delroy Lindo, and he's not a bad actor. Because Lily Taylor had kids in the first Conjuring movie, and it was pretty dark too. Who would want to take a child away from someone else? There's adoption, you know. You don't have to steal them. Yeah, that scene was hard to watch. Hmm. There's Delroy Lindo. Yeah, they have a Spanish maid. Yeah, that was a really big cliche in the 80s and the 90s and the early 2000s. We get it. Minorities have to work. Were you expecting to see Galactus in Avengers 5 or 6? Yeah, but would they have to put the Fantastic Four first, set them up, and then put them? This movie has a lot of tension in it. Hey, Electric Dino, I'm doing Ransom. This movie's dark. Yeah, this is not a kids movie. It's R-rated, and the subject matter is very, very, like serious. It's not. This is not a kids movie. They only cast they only cast Delroy Lindo because Morgan Freeman was too busy to do this movie. He was doing Seven, which is another pretty dark '90s movie. The '90s still had an edge to it. Nowadays, movies are too safe. Even when they're dark, they have to like hold back a little bit because I don't need an NC-17 Marilyn Monroe biopic. You're gonna show her blowing a guy and doing blow. That's not gonna be shocking. I've seen worse. Okay, it's gonna be like Showgirls, but less exploitive and just more like gritty. And I'm like, yeah, you're not gonna be better than some movies. How come X-Men didn't get an MCU reboot? Because again, we have to wait. They did have mentioned the mutants, and they mentioned that Miss Marvel is a mutant, so that's a start. And we saw Xavier in Multiverse of Madness. Jackie Brown, that's another movie that came out after this. Lindo, you're British. You don't have. I don't even think he has kids. Not every actor does. I mean, Angelina adopted children before she had kids with Brad Pitt in the 2000s or 2010s. Yeah, that's Donnie Wahlberg. Yeah, yeah, yeah. He doesn't crack jokes and talks like this. No, he's a more serious version of his brother. Yeah, I'm tired, guys. I've had to take care of my dog for the past 4 days. It's been a nightmare. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. Yeah, 4 days. 2 more days, and then I'm done. This is the booklet. Yeah. This movie's pretty intense. Yeah. Who was the best character of this movie? It depends. I haven't seen it for a while. I just met you. Just met Tevye when today? I met him years ago. I met him back in 2013 when I started YouTube. No, then the movie would be over and it'd be a short film that was depressing. That's a lame joke. Why are they taping his eyes? Don't they tape the mouth, not the eyes? They're eating Chinese food. At least most of these actors are still alive. I was a kid when this came out. I couldn't see this as a kid. It would traumatize me. I was only 11. And I wouldn't know what I would do if I ever got abducted by a stranger. That's why you don't talk to strangers. And you don't leave kids unattended. You don't do that. You have to keep an eye on them. Thor Love and Thunder better than Endgame? No, not even close. The Guardians are barely in the movie, just like at the end of Endgame. The ending is downbeat. And also, unlike Endgame, it didn't have the villains barely in the movie. At least in Endgame, you see Thanos a lot. Well, in the beginning, and then they show him, when they follow him. They go back in time, and then he's like trying to look for the stones. Okay, that was kind of funny. But this is not a comedy, guys. The bejeebers. Yeah, it's a 90s movie, guys. They were right when they said a slam bang thriller. Yeah. And also tension packed. Yeah, it is tension packed. Rolling Stones. Richard Price and Alexander Ignan wrote the script. Again, that's another movie. That's a Quentin Tarantino movie. That name is copyrighted. Methinks that Kyle Massey is still, but Jonathan Avenger thinks otherwise. What does that mean? You don't make any sense. Just put you in a timeout. I don't even know what that means. Why can't you people talk in plain English? Why are you weird saying all this weird stuff? Can Superman die? Because I saw Superman get shot by bullets. He died in the Death of Superman. If you've seen that movie, there's been two of them: Doomsday and the Death of Superman from 2018. He dies in that. It was sad because I read the comic and it was really sad. There's Dan Hedaya. I'll say this: this movie is better than this movie is less long than Denis Villeneuve's Prisoners. Oh my god, that movie was so dark. It's like this movie, except there's two daughters that are abducted, and Hugh Jackman just goes to town on them. This movie, I think, is a little bit less severe. You know, it's only one kid, not two. Yeah, there's a product placement of Lay's. There's Gary Sinise. Is that John? Is that? I think that's John Ortiz in a cameo. Golden Crisp. I remember that cereal. Video rentals. Yeah, remember when you had to rent VHS tapes? Yeah, I remember that. Some of you guys don't even know what a VHS tape is. A bag of apples. Fruity Pebbles. Yeah, there's a lot of product placement. A lot of 90s movies had supermarket scenes. What's your thoughts on the new Fantastic Four? I don't know. I'm gonna wait till there's a till they have a cast list and a trailer. I'm not gonna judge a thing before it comes out because again, there's nothing. We have no news except that it's gonna get made in 2 years. That's it. Dramatic fade out. There's a kid. And this kid must be brave, this actor, to be half of the movie he's abducted and he has to have a piece of tape, duct tape on his eyes. Not his mouth, again, his eyes, for some reason. So I guess he doesn't know where they are. So he doesn't recognize the area. Excuse me. They don't sell Frankenberry or Boo Berry or even Count Chocula until like October, maybe, or like late September. Because that's when they put it back in the stores in Target, Best Buy. Well, not Best Buy, Target and Food Universe, Key Food, etc. Ooh, see, this movie's not. It has like a few moments that made me smile, but that's only because I found a few things funny. Because you have to find a bright spot in a dark area. Like the Batman is a dark movie, but if you find, oh, I don't want to see Gary Sinise's ass. Nope, nope, don't want to see it. I've seen enough man ass this year. I mean, I did. Thor, the recent Thor movie had man ass. Of course they don't. You're a woman. Back in the '90s, a lot of male characters did not respect women in these action or thrillers. Hmm. Lit is another word for awesome. But just speak in plain English. Don't write words down like a code. Like I have to figure it out. I'm not solving a puzzle, guys. I'm just reading the chat while I'm watching this film. Makes sense. Don't put like spell things wrong. And I'm not reading Ebonics. Hmm. Take one of these. Am I gonna see any? And Moonlight is a gay movie. I told you I don't watch gay movies. I'm against it, and even if I watch it, I'm gonna be like covering my eyes the whole time. I don't live for that lifestyle. I'm sorry. Jordan Peele, I just saw a movie with him, Keanu, when he did comedy before he did all the serious black issues movie like Get Out and Us and Nope. We get it, but you're not the new freaking Spike Lee, dude. You're not. That's why Nope, nobody can understand it. At least Spike Lee doesn't make these movies that are a little pretentious. He doesn't. He knows the audience he's catering to. He did it better. Do the Right Thing, Black Klansman, Jungle Fever. He knows how to put racial relations and social issues without shoving it in my face like this. Yeah. Just think about that. I respect Jordan Peele as a writer, but Get Out should have been your one and only racial relation racism thing. That's it. Not all your movies have to be racist or have, oh, it's a black lead, but we have to put they have to be struggling or they have to have some kind of issue. I'm like, we get it already. We get it. Because Us, I don't know what that was. It was like a horror movie. I'm like, we get it. Racism is ugly and it's scary. We get it. Yes, Us is a horror movie, but it's not scary. I heard the voice in that and I was laughing my ass off. I'm like, this is not scary. Talking like this is not scary. It's not scary. I'm sorry. The Conjuring scared the shit out of me. Even the Batman scared the shit out of me. When the Riddler shows up in the first 5 minutes, I was like this. I was like, just I had my freaking adrenaline was kicking in. I was like, oh my god. I was at the edge of my seat. I'm not scared of his racist thing. Oh, you abduct a black guy that's actually British. Wow. Yeah, because I've never seen that before. As a person of color, which I am, look at my arms. I don't need a movie to preach about, oh, how racism is ugly. I get it. With Nope, I get the struggle. I get it. I'm not white, so I get it. This kid's a good actor for not showing his eyes. I guess the hobo, no, the hobo is she's horrifying. You don't even need to put her in a horror movie. She's already scary. That face of hers gave me night terrors for many years. I think Us is scary, but the Riddler is scary too. Yeah, he scared me because you don't see his face. He's got a voice like this, and he's behind a computer, and you don't know what's going to happen next. That's what scared me in the Batman. I was not expecting that movie to have tension, but it did. Nolan's films, I was never scared, except with the Scarecrow when he throws the fear gas in people's face. That's the only part of the movie that's kind of eerie. The rest of it is just, a basic Batman origin story. Good, but the editing is kind of weak and it's a little long. But that the only thing scary was the fear gas. But with the Riddler, I was scared the whole time. I didn't know what was going to happen. Even my mom saw it. I was like, oh my god, yeah, scared the shit out of me, man. Oh my god. Even this movie, as old as it is, it still has that tension. Ignoring what messages? Who's worse? They're both bad, Little Sims. They're both bad. That's all I'm gonna say. I'm not gonna go into detail. Scrawling. I haven't seen a movie with her in 7 years. So I'm going to keep it that way. Because she was in The Bubble on Netflix. And I'm like, nope, not going to do it. I'd rather watch Nope than watch the Bubble. Because at least she's not in that. I prefer Kiki Palmer any day. At least she's lights up my life. Despite her issues. This is when people had a phone inside of their car, not cell phones. What's more darker, Dark Knight or the Batman? I think the Batman was much darker because with the Joker I was never scared because clowns don't scare me. But with the Batman, I was like, yeah, again, Riddler. I didn't expect that. It's like a serial killer movie, It's like a freaking crime thriller. It was basically a PG-13 movie that wanted to be an R-rated movie because it just plays mind games with you. And it's the best DC movie we're getting this year. I mean, I'm still looking forward to Black Adam and Shazam, but it's not going to be as dark as the Batman. Or as profitable because of, Avatar too. Ugh. And Mel Gibson will do anything in this movie for his son. I get it. When you care about your kids, you do whatever it takes to keep them safe and happy and protected. And this was before Taken, by the way. A man searching for his child, male or female, it doesn't matter. That's ballsy. If Disney makes Elsa gay, will you immediately hate him? Oh yeah, they make her gay. I'm done. I'm walking out of the theater. I'm saying, "Fuck you, Disney. I'm done with you. You're dead to me." Seriously. Yeah, I'm not saying Walt Disney. I'm saying the freaking executives. I think that's a good idea. Don't do it. If you make it Lightyear, you're gonna fail. Kids do not give a rat's ass about sexual orientation. They want to be entertained. See Space Jam or Space Jam: A New Legacy. The kids were having a great time, and they didn't have to go. They didn't walk out of the theater. I'm not going to hate every Disney movie I've ever seen, just the recent stuff they've done. I will never watch a Disney movie in the theater again if they do that. Keep her alone or give her a love interest that's male. Don't go the other route. That's not ridiculous, classic film collector. You don't have my mindset. When they put gay agendas in a kid's film, it's forced. In an adult movie like Moonlight or freaking Bohemian Rhapsody or whatever, that's not allowed. What's up? And nice tune shirt. Thanks, Jadrin or Jadrin. I don't know how to say your name. Is it Jadrin or Jadrian? I'll just call you Jay. Yeah, thanks for that. I need some words of encouragement. I'm very tired. I'm doing this podcast after feeding my dog and taking her outside. What do you mean it's not allowed in adult movies? It's allowed in those movies, but in kids' films, it's not needed. It's not necessary. What are you preaching it to a kid? That there's other kinds of people in this world? They already know that. You don't have to force it in. You don't have to force it in. It's not necessary. Making gay characters in a Disney movie is insulting. I saw Trolls World Tour. There was nothing gay in that. I like the film. I like Trolls World Tour. It wasn't great, but at least it didn't have any stupid gay shit in it. It's not needed. It's not necessary. You're forcing it. And some conservatives will not allow that. And Disney's like that. And so is freaking the WB with some of their films. And the CW did that, but they're going to be done next year. It's not necessary. It's not necessary. Disney puts gay stuff in kids' movies. It's not needed. When I was a kid, there was never anything gay. When Bugs used to kiss a guy, it was a joke. It wasn't he was sexually attracted to them. It's a joke. But nowadays, it's not a joke. It's like two women kissing in a Pixar movie feels forced. That's why I'm not seeing Lightyear. I'd rather go back and watch Toy Story 1, 2, 3, and 4. Or any other Pixar movie. It needs to stop, Disney, because if you don't, your empire's going to burn in flames. It is. Well, anyway, back to the movie, because I don't want to talk about Disney. I'm not doing a podcast for any Disney movies this month. I promise you that. If I do a Marvel movie, it's going to be a Fox Marvel movie or Sony or something, or New Line Cinema. Like Daredevil. That's not a Disney movie. This film has some really good tension in it. Like I can feel what's going to happen next. I'm always guessing. Yeah, and I've only seen this movie once, so it's not a film I go back to and watch a lot. Because I've seen Air Force One several times, but not this one. And Firewall and Taken, but not this one for some reason. Mm-hmm. Eloy. I like movies that make me feel something, not anger. Because Turning Red, they didn't do anything gay in it, but then they have to have, oh, look, we're mentioning period blood in a kid's movie. I'm like, oh my God. This movie would make more sense if Mel Gibson had a daughter. But in a freaking kid's movie, it's not necessary. There's certain things that kids are not ready to hear. Sorry. Sunoco, Pepsi. There's a lot of product placement in this movie, but it's in the background. It's not shoved down your face. If this was a Transformers sequel, Mel Gibson would be drinking a Bud Light while driving. Mm-hmm. We're 46 minutes in. We're about halfway through the film. Now, Snatch, that's a different movie. People thought that those black bars on the bottom and the top were a problem with the movies. No, it's called widescreen. Is Corey in the House the reason you detest Kyle Massey? No, it's just because that show was bad. He was good in the original That's So Raven in some parts. Here he was a cartoon and none of the characters are likable. Except for Sophie because she was a little girl and she was cute. But that's it, though. Oakland. Yikes. Saddle River Road. Yeah, I'm glad the Wi-Fi connection is holding up because it's cloudy today. There might be a thunderstorm. That's why I wanted to do this early. So, to get things done early and then I can rest. And I can feed my dog later. Better already. See, this movie is dead serious, mostly. And waving like you just don't care. Yeah, no, I'm just kidding. Movies are just too long. Now, when they do a crime thriller, it has to be like 2.5 hours. I'm like, no, it doesn't, guys. Tell your story in less than in 2 hours or less, and just get out of there. Because like last year, or was it like 2020? Yeah, the last day of American Crime on Netflix, and it's almost 2.5 hours. Way too long, guys. Even The Gray Man, I just saw that. It could have been much shorter. You could have the ending should have been Chris Evans dies. It's over. He stays with Julia Butters, and that's it. Ryan Gosling. That's it. You didn't need to stretch out the running time for 10 more minutes. Some things are just not necessary in the film. This film would not be better if it had a gay character. It wouldn't be needed in the film. It would just be forced in there. And this was '96, not 2022, where everything's woke, everything's gay, everything's politically correct. That's not how the world works. Oh, that's it for Donnie Wahlberg. Oh yeah, that was like unexpected. Have you heard of Sonia Mizuno? No. No, he's dead. You shot him. What did you expect? Him to blink? When you have a chance, look her up and tell me if you think she looks good or if she looks boring. As long as it's not Gemma Chan or Jessica Henwick, who I'm also tired of. Don't. I'll check her out later. Let me just take this out. There we go. Mel, the movie's not over yet. We still got another hour to go. Yep. Take that, you bento. Yuck. The acting's really good in the movie. Ron Howard knows how to direct adults, even kids, because he did The Grinch and he directed the little girl that played Cindy Lou. The acting's a lot better here than in a lot of movies I saw this year. Because these Netflix movies, they try to be like this, but they cast the wrong people, and the movies are too long and they're too talky. There's no tension. I don't feel any tension when Ryan Gosling is outrunning explosions like he's a freaking superhero. That Mel Gibson's not a superhero in this movie. He's not. I've seen this movie before, and he's not a superhero. Even in the first Taken, Liam Neeson is not a superhero. Not till the sequels, and those sequels are terrible. Hmm. People have cameras everywhere now. Now you can't go into any buildings without having like a camera either in the corner or hidden somewhere or behind you or in front of you. Yeah, there's always a cameras. And you see why this movie's not on Disney Plus? Because it's a very, very intense movie. I don't think a movie like this should ever be on Disney Plus. Maybe Hulu, but not Disney Plus. Because it's Touchstone Pictures, which is owned by Disney. But good God, this movie does not need to be on Disney Plus. This makes those Netflix Marvel shows look like a kids' cartoon in comparison because of how much tension is in this. I know. OTB, I remember those places. That was a place where people could bet on horses and whatever. They don't have those anymore. They used to be around this area. Yeah, like the abductors, kidnappers. Yeah, you don't want to mess with people like that. Much better. So he got his eye loose. They shut the lights off on him. Yeah, this movie. Yeah, it is. It lives up to its R rating. It doesn't make light of this situation because this happens every year. There's a Coca-Cola can right behind them. Yeah. Shouldn't be a problem. Yeah. Even that's not funny. It's like, you don't know what's going to happen next. People do have cell phones in this movie, but no iPhones because it was '96. That's why I like this movie more than The Long Kiss Goodnight because that was predictable, and it was just nonsensical. Like they dunk Gina Davis in cold water, like freezing water that would give you hypothermia, and she's fine. Nothing happens to her. She's a superhero, and I'm like, yeah, I'm not buying that, guys. You go into cold water for a long time, you'll die. Your blood pressure goes down, and you die. I've been in cold water, and I can't be in it for too long because they go woo, but that's it. Even when I'm taking a shower, I have to mix some warm water in there. I never take a shower in cold water. It's always personal, Mel Gibson. Every time a villain does something, it's usually personal. Oof. We're an hour in, so we're halfway through the movie. Eesh. He says that same line in The Grinch, but it's more of like an empty threat than here. Here, yeah, Gary Sinise played a lot of villains because he was a villain here and in Reindeer Games as well. He just has a villain face for some reason. Not in Forrest Gump, but in because he's not in that movie that much. He's a guy in a wheelchair, but in this movie, yeah, and in Reindeer Games, he's one of the villains in that. He's one of three villains. Yeah, three. It's him, Charlize Theron, and James Frain, who appears at the end. Let me see my battery power, 68%. It'll survive. Once this is over, I'm going to just take a nap, and I'll do my collection video again. I'll do the box sets this time, box sets and TV shows. I can. The chat's gone. I bet they're going to eat breakfast right now because it's 11 o'clock where I live. That's fine. I already ate breakfast. Mm-hmm. Now you have to walk. It looks like his son. $449 for a little TV like that. You could get that at a thrift store for like $10 now or less. Yeah, he cut the red light. Yep. I know I'm not saying much, but the chat's kind of empty anyway. So Josh didn't see this, but he could see this later. I'll share it on Facebook later because this is my last podcast for this weekend. I'll just do some collection videos today, tomorrow, and Sunday, and some reviews, more reviews of of superhero shows and movies. As you know, if I already know, why you telling me? Yeah, and for what? What is that going to prove? Hmm. You won't either, Disney. Ooh, wow. Oh my God. Oh, yep. He's like, you mess with me, I'm gonna fuck up your world. I forgot how good this movie was. This movie's a lot better than I thought. I'm gonna give this movie like a like 4 out of 5 stars on Red Letterboxd. Damn, Josh. Woo. You see this movie again. Yeah, it's that much. It's that like this movie's intense, man. And Mel Gibson is a good actor, guys. He's just an asshole. Never, Disney. You make Elsa gay, and I'm never giving you money again. I promise you. And when I have kids, they're never going to Disney just to protest your gay, woke, greedy bullshit. Oh, trust me, I know. Yeah, Gary Sinise, you're screwed. Yeah, this movie's not funny like Lethal Weapon 3 or 4. Yeah, you're not gonna get my money, Disney. After Black Panther 2, you get nothing. And like when you do your Elemental movie next year, if it's anything like Lightyear or Onward, you're screwed. And Strange Worlds, I don't care about it. Look, the first openly gay character in an animated film. Again, fuck you. You already did it several times. Nobody cares. Nobody cares about your freaking rainbow colored flag that you desecrated. You took something that comes out of the sky after a rainfall and you made it into some gay symbol. Yeah, go screw yourself, Disney. You don't know what real life. This is reality. Things like this really happen. Kids never grow up gay. It's the environment that they're in that turns them to that. It's not a choice. It's a freaking. It's the background. It's what they're surrounded by. If they're surrounded by flamingos, what do you think is going to happen? Huh? I wasn't, and I had a gay uncle who just died last year. I miss him. I miss him a lot. But I didn't. I never agree with his lifestyle choice. Downside. I know, Mel Gibson. You don't have to tell me about yourself. And taking what you call it, Maggie Grace was not a kid. She was a teenager in that movie. She was playing a teen. This is a child that's not even 13 yet. Of course, the movie's not over yet. Again, that's another movie. This movie's shorter than Jackie Brown, at least. because Tarantino's movies are way too long. Like, other than Reservoir Dogs, which I really like, except for the ending, every movie he does has to be like 2.5 hours or 3 hours. We get it, Tarantino. You want to tell an epic story. You don't need to do that in 3 hours. This movie's under 2 hours without the end credits. We're almost done. Mm-hmm. High ground. It's over, Anakin. I got the high ground. Again, that's another movie. They keep saying that name. That's a coincidence, but still. Jackie Brown 1 year later came out and it starred Pam Grier. It had a massive cast. This poor kid hasn't seen the light of day. You know what's another movie that was intense like this? Room, with Brie Larson and Jacob Tremblay. Yeah, because in Room, the kid, Jacob Tremblay and Brie Larson are like abducted in the beginning of the movie, and they're living in a shack because some guy has them hostage, and then they escape. And it won an Oscar, which it deserved. And people say she can't act. Go watch that movie and tell me if she can't act. Tell me, without the special effects in Marvel, tell me if she can't act. She's already proven it many times. You people are just jealous because she's a gorgeous woman that can act. That's not a Kristen Stewart or the hobo or whatever. Look, he's wearing the Riddler's mask. Yikes. That's why if I ever have a kid or if I adopt a kid, I'm gonna make sure they're always safe and never keep them in a bad area and always keep an eye on them. Because my dog, no, she just sleeps all day and doesn't do anything. She's always safe, but she drives me crazy. Always wants to eat, always wants to go to the bathroom, always wants to go outside, always wants to just drink and run around the house like the Flash. It gets old after a while. Yeah. Yeah, he's swamped by reporters. Hmm. Yeah, trust me, putting a bounty on your head, and look what happened to Han Solo. Yeah, the chat's completely dead. I guess everybody left. They saw how intense this movie was. They're like, I'm out. Yeah, because again, none of you guys have probably seen this movie. I have. This is only the second time. Exactly, Disney. This I'm feeling this. Yeah, man, that's a great performance, man. I feel that. I'm not even a parent. I'm not even a parent. I'm not even a parent, and I feel this performance. He didn't kill him. That wasn't. That wasn't your kid. That wasn't his kid. That was somebody else. He killed somebody else. Man, some people take their it's a really good performance, guys. You're missing out. I forgot how good. No, he killed somebody else. He missed. This movie's so intense, man. I'm not even a parent, and trust me, I would do whatever it takes. I am not a passive person, guys. If I don't get my way, when I don't get my way, I get upset. Imagine if someone did this to me. I would track them down. I'd just pay them and then just kill the bastard and be like, "Give me my son back, or daughter, or whatever." Forgot how good this movie was. It's really good. I have the chill. I have chills, man. So he's in a laundromat now. I should have waited to do this movie. I forgot how intense it was. This movie should have had a commentary because, man, I really wanted to know what Ron Howard thought of it. When he was making this movie. Yep, it's really violent, this movie, too. It's not as violent as a John Wick, but it's still pretty damn violent. Again, this is really personal. This third act is pretty personal, man. Yep, it got you. Didn't see that coming, huh? Lily Taylor's gonna die, of course. She's the only woman in this movie that, other than Rene Russo, who doesn't die in this movie. But man, oof! I have to raise the rating on this movie. It's good God. I'm shaking, and I've seen this movie before, but man, I forgot. In this day and age, with 2020, where everybody's on edge for everything, for a freaking like not silly, but over a disease that they won't get if they stay home. This is scarier, guys. Yeah, someone missing is a lot scarier than getting sick. I got COVID and I survived because I got the Moderna shot. But with this, I'm like, this scares the shit out of me way more. Because I had an uncle that's autistic was missing for 2 days. He wasn't abducted; he just was lost, and we were scared to death. No, you're not. Fox, you saw. The movie's almost over, guys. Even though you guys aren't here, but 3 people are watching it. But watch this movie, guys. Stream this movie if you can. If you have not seen this, if you have kids, yeah, this is going to definitely strike a chord with you. I was not expecting this movie to make me uneasy, like when I saw Taken or Room. Yeah, please. But the movie's not over yet. It's only 96 minutes in. If Deadpool appeared in Avengers Endgame, what reaction? I would lose it. Oh, they're dead. They were blown away. That kid hasn't seen the light of day for several days. I don't know what to say. I'm just like stunned. The movie could have ended right here, but no, they'd stretch it out a little bit. Yeah, no shit. He got loose. Please don't leave him again. What did I tell you about leaving your kid unattended? He doesn't recognize his voice. Yeah, even this scene, I'm just like, it's like that. This would be like if Die Hard with a Vengeance ended like this. I'm like, no, there's a reason why that they changed the ending in with a Vengeance to beating that, to him shooting the helicopter, because the original ending was he let the villain go, and that wouldn't have been as good. He's gonna recognize him. He pissed his pants. And no, that's not funny. It's like the scene in Exorcist. It's not funny. He's terrified. That poor kid. If he's still alive, yeah. I don't know who that actor is. A kid plays Sean. I'm gonna check at the end, because he's just like, after doing this, I'll be surprised if he left acting after this, because this would have traumatized me as a kid. Because '96, I was very young. I was not even 13 yet. And yes, this is more intense than Nope and anything that Jordan Peele's ever done. Because Get Out is predictable. This movie still, wow, just you feel the tension even when there's no dialogue. It's just people staring at each other. It's just, yeah, wow. And Blonde is not going to be as dark as this movie. I don't care how many times Ana de Armas goes down on the guy. Yeah, I need to see something funny tomorrow, because good God, this movie was super intense. Yeah, this is the final act. Yikes. Yeah, I did. Because Payback was not this intense. Like, that movie was a little bit more lenient. It was R-rated, but you have Lucy Liu in a freaking dominatrix outfit. You're not. That movie was never going to be as serious as this. And Josh was like, "Oh, but that's over sexualized." I'm like, Lucy Liu was sexy in 1998 or '99. Yeah, and she still is to this day. I'd still bang her brains out. Like, not like gun with a gun. I mean, like sexually. She's just beautiful. It's desirable. I got to get Payback. Yeah, I got to get both cuts of Payback, because after seeing this, Mel Gibson, man, the guy can act. Just stop being a prick. Stop being racist, and stop drinking, because it's not good for you. It ruined my grandfather's life. Because Bloodfather was the opposite of this. I liked it until we got to the third act, and then Mel Gibson just dies, and that wasn't fair. And I loved Erin Moriarty in that. She was really good. Well, I could buy comic books online. It's intense, man. Cellular is kind of like this too, but it's PG-13. It's a little bit lighter. I'll do that one eventually, but I'm not going to do that till next week. With Chris Evans, where the kid is also abducted, but it's a lot lighter than this. It's not. Chris Evans is actually having fun in that movie, and there's a lot light. It's got a lighter tone. This is super dark, man. And I forgot to mention Rene Russo has beautiful hair in this movie, even though this movie is not glamorous. Like you don't see anybody naked in this movie except for Gary Sinise's ass once, but that's it. The rest of the movie, yeah, yeah, he's taking credit for something that he did. That's like the worst feeling in the world, to trust somebody that you thought you could trust somebody and they're the actual villain of the movie. Yeah, that happened in Die Hard when he catches. But that movie they kind of made it like a joke because he catches Hans Gruber and it's like hi, and then he starts screaming like a bitch. I'm like, yeah, that was a little bit too much. Like it was a little bit too comedic, and it kind of took me out of the movie a little bit. I love Die Hard with a passion, but that scene was just silly. Yeah, the movie's almost over. Yeah, it's almost done, guys. Just a few more minutes and we'll be done with this movie. I hope I get that someday. Transaction complete. You're a millionaire. Well, Gary Sinise is a millionaire. He's done a lot of movies. He's good at it. That's the thing with these actors now, like freaking Giovanni Ribisi, who did Avatar. I'm like, it's with the trees. Yep, gotcha. Speared. Yep. Here we go. Right in front of a bank. This is why I didn't like the Suicide Squad as much because there's no tension in that movie. It's just a bunch of CGI fighting CGI. There's no CGI in this movie. None. Ron Howard kept it very realistic. and the blood's realistic, the violence and the locations and the cars and everything. There's no. This is not a cartoon. This movie is insanely dark, man. I haven't seen a movie this dark since The Siege with Denzel Washington, which also got me uneasy because that movie is in New York and they blow up a building, and it was a few years before 9/11, so it was a little bit, it hit a little bit too close to home. That movie scared me. Whenever there's a movie this tense in New York City, it's going to give me tension. When it's not a comedy or like a horror film or something. Get him, Mel, get him. Oh man, this is a great fight scene. Right through the glass you go. At this point, I wish I was watching Taken. At least Taken was not this dark. It got dark, but it didn't get overly dark. Where, the whole movie is like intense. It's intense when they take her, but that's not till like the first 20 or 30 minutes. In this movie, the kid gets taken in the first 5 or 10 minutes. Don't do it. No, he's bleeding to death. He got a piece of glass in his neck. This movie's brutal, man. Yeah, and he has a gun. They got him. It was in self-defense. Black and white. See, the movie ends in black and white. It's weird that it would do that because it's not a art film, but man, whew, man, this movie's intense. I won't be watching this for another year. A life for a life, Gary Sinise. He had an extra gun in his on the bottom of his pants, of course. An ambulance truck. That's it. That was freaking Ransom. Oof. Holy shit, this movie was dark. So Sean was Brawley Nolte. Is he Nick Nolte's son? I think he is. Man, I did not expect this movie to impact me as much as it did, but oh my god. Let me take this out. Yeah, this movie was intense, man. If you've never seen it, see it immediately because, it's gonna hit. It's gonna hit you. It's gonna hit you. It's an hour and 56 minutes. See, it wasn't 2 hours long, but man, I'll remember this again forever after watching it a second time. But that was Ransom. Thanks for watching, you guys. I'm sorry the chat was kind of dead. Did you find this? Did you find this the best film of 1996? One of the best. It is one of the best because I did not expect it to be, a second viewing. I'm like, wow, this movie hit me even closer, especially because of the era we live in now. But anyway, thanks for watching. See you guys in the next video. End.